Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Take Back Control Tuesday. Now, I can't tell you what the outcome is going to be for each and every one of you, but what I can tell you is for the next hour and 40 minutes, the time we're going to spend together, if you apply what you learn, this will change your financial future. If you're here, that means you're ready for change. And tonight, that's exactly what we're gonna deliver. I've got a special guest for you. His name's Jason Sipple. He is a master of what you're gonna learn. But what are you going to learn? Well, Jason is gonna teach you three things. He's gonna teach you how to take back control of your money by being your own bank. And then he's also gonna teach you how to build wealth through your own debts and expenses. That'll be the second thing you learn. And the third thing you'll learn, hence the cars, you're gonna learn how to get all the money back for every single car that you ever buy, drive, and own. And before you get into it, one last favor, just click that button right there, the subscribe button. It would do me a huge favor. And also, right above is a little bell. Smash that bell so that every time I put new content out, you'll be notified. So I don't want to waste any more time. It's time for Jason to really show you all about the infinite banking concepts. Let's roll.
Take back control.
Tuesday night.
Tuesday?
What if by changing just one thing, you could change everything in your financial life for the better? And what if that one thing was super simple to change? Would you guys make that change? Would you make the change? Pop it in the chat. Would you change the one thing if you knew you could have a guaranteed improvement in your financial future? So who here, show of hands, we got a yes from Lewis. Who here wants more money? All of us, right? Who here wants more money? Who here wants more control? Who here wants the ultimate thing that we all want, more freedom? I'm going to let you know in on a little known fact. The wealthiest families and visionaries like the Rockefellers, Walt Disney, have been using a strategy called the infinite banking concept for ages to build and preserve their empires. The strategy is simple, it's legal, and all of you have access to it. And it all starts with changing that one thing. Start paying yourself first. We're giving a big chunk of every paycheck away to the evil empire. Jason, who's the evil empire? Well, it's the banks, it's Wall Street, it's the government. And do you want to know, does everyone here want to know how to recapture and recycle this money that we're giving away willingly to other families? And again, it starts with that one simple change. Where does your surplus money go first? That's right, Shauna, simple is here. So let's get ready to dive into the infinite banking concept, where I will show you what your money is doing today. I'll show you what the average American is doing with their money, and how the banks are making money on whose money? On our money. And then how you can make money with every car you buy, drive, and own, and how you can use your existing debts, the predatory rates for credit cards and other longer term purchases, to recapture and recycle that money and bring it back to your family. I thought this was unbelievable. Everyone that first sees about this tells me, Jason, I wish I would have started this when I first learned about it, but I thought it was too good to be true. So I'm going to offer to each of you, just come with an open mind, and anything that you don't understand, give yourself permission that you just don't understand it yet, because it's possible for you. It's possible. What if this was possible? Would you make that change? Let's dive in. So imagine you're in a room with 117, 18-year-olds that had just graduated, the top of their class, and they're all excited. They're all excited about their future. There's so much possibility in front of them. And I'm going around and we're leading an exercise about what their future is going to look like, what their life's going to look like upon retirement. And I ask them, who here is going to be successful by the time they retire? And they're all going to be like, ooh, me, jumping out of their chairs, yelling, pick me, Jason, pick me. I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to be a billionaire. I'm going to be the next Elon, the next Steve Jobs, the next Zuckerberg, right? The next big thing. We're going to be the next big thing. And then something happens. Time goes by, decades go by between 17 and retirement age, and something changes. And what is it that changes? What is it that has folks not be successful? What has it that only a small percentage of those super excited 17, 18-year-olds aren't successful? They're not financially free. What is the system that is constraining them? What is it that has them conform and not have success? What changes over that period of time? There's a shocking statistic that only 5 out of 100 of those teenagers, right, with their whole life in front of them, with possibility to be whatever it is that they dream of, and it doesn't work out. How is this possible? We live in the greatest country in the world, in the greatest time in the world, despite what the media is telling you. And, some of us, like myself, live in the greatest state in the world. And we're here, and only 5 out of 100 people are financially secure. How is this possible? The wealthiest country in the world, the freest country in the world, a place where people are dying to get here and to be here. Now, I know this is not you guys, because you're already in the minority. You're already giving your most valuable resource today, your time, your energy, your focus on learning something different, learning how to change that one thing. And so let's explore why this statistic is true and how can we change it. And here's the best quote, right? The problem in America isn't so much what people don't know, it's what people think they know that just ain't so. So what I show you today, again, a lot of things we've been taught about money, a lot of things that we think are true might not actually be the truth. So I'm asking for you to keep an open mind, because in this webinar, I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge the way that you currently think about money, what you're currently doing with your money, and just offering you that there might be a more optimal solution. So who am I? What gives me the opportunity to stand in front of you today and to present this information? So I want you, again, to use your imagination. Imagine you're in a room of professional development and you're doing the exercise about your big vision, your goal, the things that are pulling you, that are magnets to your future. And you're dreaming like those kids were. What are you going to be? Where are you going to be in 5 years? Who are you going to be around? How much money are you going to have? What's your life look like? And I'm helping lead this exercise in a mastermind. And as the leader is bringing everyone through this, and everyone's shouting and getting excited and pumped up, I started crying. I broke down and tears just started running down my face. And in that moment, I felt like I had failed my family. I'm here helping others reach their dreams, their goals, their visions. And yet here I am away from my family, not protecting and providing for them the way that I'm capable of, and building someone else's dream. And it devastated me. And I started asking different questions. I started asking for help. And I asked a mentor of mine, a friend who's a fiduciary of 40 wealth management offices, for a financial philosophy, because I hadn't adopted one. At that moment, I had a philosophy around my health, my marriage, being a father, spiritually, my faith, but I didn't have one around money. And I didn't know the rules of the game. I didn't really understand, so I asked for help. And so when I asked him for help, he handed me one book. And that one book shifted everything for me. And it just started by our family changing one thing. And we've gone from having over $100,000 in bad debt to no bad debt, to paying for our financial things, vacations, other things, through our own system that I'm going to show you today. And now we're leveraging that to go and have money coming back in. We're putting our little green men to work. And this has all happened over the last 4 years. So I'm going to share the book. I'm going to share these different experiences and truths about money. And so let's look at who else talks about this. Who else might you guys know who talks about this? One guy has a poor dad and he has a rich dad, and You might know who he is, but he's written another book called Second Chance. We got Robert Kiyosaki. And I've seen emails that he's written to some of my peers about the power of infinite banking and how he loves the control and the freedom it provides in this system. And there's other guy who changed my life, the big man, right? Tony Robbins. Went to his event and realized that so many rules and so many habits I had weren't serving me. And so he writes about this concept in Money Master the Game section 5.2. And then the book that changed my life is written by R. Nelson Nash. It's firmly my belief that this book, if you don't have it yet, go buy it. Give me a show of eyes who has read this book or has this book. And if you don't have it, go get it. It should be on your nightstand next to your Bible. It is that powerful of a book. And then we have my peers, right? Brent and Chris, partners who have written a modern day becoming your own banker, mapping out the millionaire mystery. And that's what we're talking about today. Oh, that's awesome, Kyle. Kyle's read it a couple of times. Who's read it here the most? Anybody read it more than once? And then we have Chris, who also knows that, hey, the power is in banking. There's 4 players in every financial play. It is the creditor, right? The depositor, and then we have the bank owner and the banker. So Chris understood, hey, you got to keep money in motion. And he started this private money guide, started Private Money Club. And so let's talk about this intriguing concept, the backwards bicycle. 10 times, Anthony. All right. So you must be a great banker then. Are you practicing, Anthony? 10, this interesting concept. Who learns quickly? Pop in the chat. Who learns really fast? Anyone? Our kids, right? Think about your kids. They're sponges. They can do things so fast. And think about when you were a kid. Think about the first time you rode a bicycle. What happens? When you push down the pedals, what happens? The bike goes forward. When you turn the handlebars to the right, the bike turns right. When you turn to the left, the bike goes left. And even if you hadn't ridden a bike for a while, you could probably still hop on the bike and get it to work, still ride the bike. Like if you went to a beach and you rented a bike, you could probably ride that bicycle, even if you hadn't ridden in a long time. But what would happen if the bike didn't work like that? If you turn the steering or the handlebars to the right and the bike went left, you guys think you could ride that bike? And for a fun experiment, thought experiment, go watch the riding the backwards bicycle on YouTube. I'm not going to show you the video here today. It's really straightforward, and it's by just changing one thing. This welder changed how the bike worked, and I think I could ride it because I love cycling, but I guaranteed I'd fall down, and hopefully you all wouldn't laugh at me till you knew I was okay, but I would definitely fall down, but I would try it. And that shows how strong those patterns, those habits are ingrained into our neural pathways. And when we learn something one way, it's incredibly challenging to learn something a new way. And the same goes for money. Since we were kids, we've been conditioned to give up control of our money, to take on the risk, to, assume that risk and to make other people money. And we don't even know it. So while this might be new to you, just remember, if you hold space for something different and a new truth, just tell yourself, I don't know this yet. And let's dive into some of the reasons why more people aren't more successful when it comes to money, the mysteries of money. And remember, the way I'm going to teach you, it's always 2 parts, math and mindset, because you always have the emotional element with money. And so what are some of the big wealth killers when it comes to our money? You guys all know this, right? Taxes. We are constantly getting taxed on getting more taxes, or we're getting taxed on more things. We got inflation, right? Think about how much it costs to go get eggs and gas and those things today compared to a couple of years ago. The volatility of the market, up and down, the interest that we're paying to other people. And then on the mindset side, we have following the status quo. I like to call those folks sheeple. Again, not all of you because you're here, but the sheeple that just kind of fall in line, like they do what's easy and everyone else is doing without questioning why. And fear of failure, fear of rejection. We want to belong to a community. So if everyone else is doing this with their money, we're going to do the same thing. And it's stopping us from being successful. what we're taught in life about money is just picked up happenstance. We're not taught this in school. We're not taught this at home typically either. So a financial philosophy I've adopted here, and you guys might want to write this down, is there's more to be had from avoiding the losses than there is from picking the winners. Again, one more time. There's more to be had from avoiding the losses, right? Losing money, taking on a lot of risk, than there is from picking the winners. And so let's talk about the mysteries of money. Let's define money. Let's get a working definition for what money is to each of us. So what is your definition of money? Pop in the chat, write it in your notebook. What is the definition of money? And I'm going to offer you that money is nothing more than a means of exchange, right? Money is energy. Steve, awesome. Money is nothing more than a means of exchange. Think about it. You go out and you pay money for a car, then a car for money, money for a home, home for money, money for food, food for money. It's a means of exchange. Okay, it doesn't have any worth other than the value we give to it. And what company uses compounding interest? Right, we got a couple, we got some good participation. What company uses compound interest? Now in your brains, oh, Anthony knows, you might be yelling, banks, the banks give us compound interest. No, we store our money there and they might be paying us interest, but they're not using it. They have to follow God's law like everyone else, like everything else. They have to keep the money in motion. Think about this. When you go and hand the teller, $1,000 in hundreds, they're not taking that $100 bill and writing your name and going back to your deposit box and depositing there. So when you need it next time, you walk back in and say, hey, can I have the $100 bill with Jason Sipple written on it? And they're not getting that back to you. No, they're just giving you a lollipop. And what's it say on the lollipop? Dum-dum. Because they know that's not how you use money, right? So now let's look at another mystery of money. Are your dollars worth more today or in the future? What do you guys think? Worth more today or in the future? You guys might think, I've seen this before, Jason, but really think about this. They're going to be worth more today, right? Think about this. If this is a hard one for you, just think about having a dollar 20 years ago and how many candy bars you could buy. You buy a couple. Today, could you even buy a candy bar with $1? So our dollars are always worth more today. I want you to use your strong dollars today rather than trading them for weaker dollars in the future. And taxes, are they going to go up or down? If you guys are confused about this, go to usdebtclock.org. Look at where we are at as a country right now. Over 34 trillion with a T dollars in debt. And in 2 years, well, really a year and a half from now, we should be about $44 trillion in debt. So you think by the time you're ready to retire, taxes are going to be lower. And another question here would be, do you want to pay taxes on the seed or on the harvest? Right? Obviously on the seed, not on the bigger amount, the harvest at the end. So that's another thought for all of you, just to shift in how you're paying taxes. We have to pay taxes. I don't want anyone here to go to jail by not paying the taxes, but let's not pay Uncle Sam more than we need to. And don't go to the debt clock. It will depress you. It'll at least show you, Anthony, what is actually happening, right? And then what do you all know about your retirement account? If you're putting money away for your future self, right? For your future self, what do you know about that account? I'm going to offer you that it's going to go up, it's going to go down, and it's not going to be less than zero. If that's what I knew about when I was putting as much money as I was allowed to into a Schwab account year after year after year when I was in the recruiting industry. And so I'm just offering you guys that, wouldn't it be better if you knew that your money was growing away from the government, tax-free, where they can't tax you on the future, and in a guaranteed way to be worth more tomorrow? So I understand that these truths, these mysteries of money might be a lot to absorb, but I just want to get you thinking, get your mind working, get it lubed up so we can start disrupting some of those traditional ways of thinking about money. Because to truly build generational wealth, to map out the millionaire mystery, you're going to need to challenge these old concepts and understand how money truly works, and give yourself permission that if you don't know it, you don't know it what? yet. So what is the money multiplier method that we're going to cover today? This is a life-changing method. It's simple and it's only got 3 steps. So what are those 3 steps? We're going to talk about the machine that we use, right, for the concept of infinite banking. We're going to talk about the marathon. And I always joke around and say, I don't run 26.2 miles unless I've already swam 2.4 miles and ridden my bike at least 112 miles, right? Like, it is long-term thinking. It's the first concept of infinite banking is long-term thinking. And then we're going to talk about everyone's favorite concept. If you've done any of your vision boards lately and mapped it out, I'm going to show you how actually, pragmatically, practically, you can map out the millionaire mystery. So let's jump into this. So what is this machine that we're always talking about in all of our videos here today? It is nothing more than a specially engineered, dividend-paying, whole life insurance policy from a mutual company. And what are we not going to talk about or use for our machine for banking, right? For the purposes of banking. It is not an IUL, a VUL, a UL, or term insurance. These are not banking systems. These are not banking types of insurance. There's too much risk when we talk about the infinite banking concept that we only will engineer these using a dividend paying whole life insurance policy from a mutually owned company. Now let's do this exercise. You guys are doing awesome today in participating, and I need everyone to draw themselves a T chart that looks something like this. Actually, so you got a T, and the top left, you're going to write bank, just like I'm going to show you here in a moment. Top right, you're going to write policy. And let's talk about a comparison. Let's talk about like a Coke versus Pepsi taste test. So it's don't even have to use the names bank or policy. Let's just use this Coke versus Pepsi taste test kind of format. Under bank, we're going to put liquidity. Under policy, we're going to put liquidity. What do I mean by liquidity? Can someone post it in the chat? What do I mean by liquidity? That's right, just access to the money. The money's not locked up in money prison. Under bank, does anyone in the audience, anyone here, have a high yield savings account? Tell me what if they do, tell me kind of what that's paying you today. I've talked to some people lately that's at 3.5%, 4%, 4.25%. Awesome, Anthony. So use your actual number. I'm putting 0.07% because that is the average conventional bank that they're paying you in your savings account right now. Under policy, the first of 2 guarantees, 3.25% guaranteed. Who likes guarantees? Anybody? Like an actual contractual guarantee, something that can't change. You guys like guarantees? Can I get an I in the chat? Yeah, there we go. I like guarantees as well. It's probably why guys like to go to the same restaurant so we can have guaranteed we're going to have the same kind of meal that we know we like, right? Maybe you don't like that change, that variety. And under bank, taxable. That growth on Anthony's 4.25% or that growth on that 0.07%, that's all taxable. It's taxable growth. And depends how much? It depends on your tax bracket. How much are you earning? And then the policy, it's tax-free, or tax advantage is the more appropriate term. So that means tax-free growth, tax-free distribution, tax-free loans. It's tax-free. It's away from the government and it's tax-free. Under bank, unstable. Jason, what do you mean by unstable? Well, unstable means, think about Silicon Valley Bank. Think about the banks that went bankrupt right afterwards and had to be bailed out. Think about the banks in New York in 2023. Think about the banks at the beginning of this year that had bad loans out and they went bankrupt. Unstable. Banks are unstable because they practice fractional banking, meaning they keep a very small deposit of your money, our money, in the actual bank at any given moment. So policies, stable. All 5 of the mutually owned dividend paying whole life companies we work with are all A+ rated or better, meaning they're in the top 2 ratings. They've all been profitable every year they've been in business, between 119 and 170 years. This 3.25%, that company has been in business, doors open and profitable every year since 1877. So almost 148 years consecutively. Think about all the changes, the wars, the stock market crashes, right? The Great Depression, or Black Monday, or the housing bubble, right, in 2008. Think about all the things that have happened to us financially as a country and know they've been profitable every year. That's impressive. That was one of the most impressive things I've seen. And then in the bank, your money's unprotected. If you're a business owner, how many business owners do we have here? A lot of you, right? If you're a business owner and someone gets hurt on a project or something, piece of land you own, well, then a good attorney is going to be able to get that money. A good attorney is going to be able to come in, liens and judgment, and access that money. Under policy, it's protected against liens and judgment, right? Your money is more secure. So just looking so far at the living benefits, we have the money is accessible, it's growing tax-free, it's growing guaranteed in a stable environment where it's protected. So far right now, in the living benefits, in this taste test, which side's winning? You guys just make the mental note, which side's winning? But there's more. Under bank, there's no death benefit. But under policy, you have a tax-free death benefit that is the second guarantee. And that's going to be a multiple of whatever your cash value is. So when you look at this, the question in this taste test is, where do the banks, the conventional banks, keep their money? Any guesses? Well, you guys would be right if you're guessing, if you're just looking at this test, if you guessed in the policy. Since 2013, banks have quadrupled the amount of whole life that they own. Look up BOLI. And again, please use Uncle Google to check all the facts I'm giving you. Make sure that what I'm telling you is accurate. So the banks keep all their money in a policy. So over $202 billion with a B, $202 billion, more than all their land and all their buildings combined. So where should we, the Americans, people, be keeping our surplus money? That one change I talked about right at the beginning. Well, obviously in a policy. And so how does your money flow? Now we're going to pretend I become not Jason the presenter, but now I'm Jason the banker. And we're going to use Jessica as a, Jessica, you have been saving your money. You have mastered the pain of discipline. You come in, you save your money and pay yourself on a regular basis. So congratulations to you, Jessica. You're like Sally Saver. And you come in, I am Jason the banker, right? And you've been saving your money, $25,000, and I've been paying you a most generous 4%. Okay? I'm paying you 4% on your money. So almost as good as Anthony's money at 4.25%, but mine's consistent. And you've been earning this 4% for years at Jason's bank. And you tell me, you come in one day and you're like, hey, I need my $25,000. I'm like, whoa, hold on, Jessica. What's wrong? Is everything okay? Are you doing okay? Something wrong? Do you need something? And you're like, no, everything's great, Jason. I've been saving all of this time to go buy my dream car. Now, don't get hung up on the numbers. If you're going to buy a Ferrari, Jessica, if you want a Ferrari, just add another zero. It works with any numbers that you want to add to this, okay? But I'm like, hey, don't do that, because I'm going to offer you something better. Keep your money here in my bank for the next 5 years, and I'm going to give you a loan. Your money's going to grow up 4%, and I'm going to give you a loan at 6% for 60 months. And at the end of this time, Jessica, you're going to have more money by keeping your money in the bank and taking that loan at 6%. Am I telling the truth? Am I an honest banker? You guys would be, no, of course not. 4 minus 6 is -2, right? 4 minus 6 is -2. Jason, you are full of bleep. You're full of it. No way. And so, but I'm like, let's look at this. We have the payments on that vehicle, $483 a month, $28,999 over that 5-year period, or 60 months. Their future value, if you go, it took me 19 times to get this, y'all. So 19 times of using a future value calculator and other calculators to do this comparison. But every time I did it, I can tell you at a 4 to 6 ratio, you always come out ahead. So I don't know about how you do math where you're at. At the end of that period, look at the numbers. You've made $1,525. But no matter what ratios you run, even a 6-3, you're going to make money in that scenario because you got one that is appreciating the whole time and one that is depreciating on the loan. So let's go to the same bank, come to my bank. Let's take that $100,000 that Jessica's got her new car, so high five to her, and she's made money. And in this new bank, you're going to deposit $100,000, and I'm going to keep paying you 4%. And the goal here is to watch what the bank does with your money, right? Watch what the bank does with your money. Remember, does money just sit in the bank? Is it just compounding, just waiting for you to come get it? No, as soon as you make a deposit in the bank, is that a liability or an asset to the bank? You guys might think asset, you just gave them $100,000, but now they have to pay you that 4%. So it's a liability. And so the banks have to do what? They have to keep things in motion. So they're going to lend it to a home builder or home buyer. And then that money's going to go to the seller, and the seller is going to put the money back in the bank. Now someone else needs a car. So now the bank's going to lend the money out again at 8% this time. It's going to go to the car dealer and it's going to come back. It's just going to keep completing that same cycle. And again, the home remodel, right? Someone, maybe your wife or your spouse wants a new gym or a new pool or a new kitchen or a new bathroom. Well, that costs money, capital. So we borrow the money from the bank. And whose money are we borrowing, by the way? We're borrowing our money and they're charging us, okay? And that goes back in the bank. And now we have debt consolidation. So in the first three examples with the home remodel, the car, and the home, the bank is making a spread on our money. They're making money on our money. And how much risk are they really taking on? Hardly any, because they have the asset of the home or the vehicle that they can take back if something happens. So let's look at how much money the bank has made on our money, okay? So now we've established the bank is just in the business of lending out money and then lending out the money again and again and again. And whose money again are they lending? They're lending our money. And so now we got, let's look at the spread. 7 minus 4 is what? It's 3, okay? Next, we got the car. 8 minus 4 is 4. Remember, nothing complicated here, easy math. 9 minus 4 is 5. And 12 minus 4 is, come on, you guys know this, 8. And don't lose me here, I know we're doing some math. So now let's add these together. We've got 8 plus 5 is what? Is 13. Plus 7 is 20. So now look, the bank's made 20% with whose money? Your money, our money. And we've earned 4%. So if you do the math, well, 20 minus 4 is 16. So the bank's made 16% more than us? No, actually, 4 to 20 is what? It's 5 times. The bank has made 5 times as much money on our money as we made on our money. That's 500%. So if you guys don't believe this, go to BauerFinancial.com and pull up any bank you want. On every dollar we deposit on an annual basis, banks make 400 to 1,300%. Is that not shocking? If that doesn't shock you and make you want to change how you think about money and how your money, because the banks, remember, they're not using their money. Just replace yourself as that middle person. Imagine yourself earning 400 to 1,300% if you are the owner of the bank.
Your real estate business lives and dies by the network and the connections that you make. I mean, after all, your network, well, it's your net worth. That's what you always heard, right? If that's an area where you desire improvement, well, Private Money Club, it's for you. PMC saves you precious time and money by bringing the real estate world, well, right to you, right in the palm of your hand. So get in on the action, like so many others have, by going to privatemoneyclub.com and sign up.
Now let's look how the average American, remember, it's not any of you, but maybe some of you want to pay attention to this part, because I know how a lot of these conversations, about 3,000 conversations. So even though you're here, we might have some optimizations that we can make together. So let's look at the annual patterns of spending. As Americans, we spend, and this has been going on for decades, we spend about 20 cents of every dollar on our cars. Unless you live in Miami, then you're spending more, or some other places in the country. And then we spend 30 cents of every dollar in housing, another 40 cents to everything else, and we save, this is a super generous number, right? We add those up, we save 10%. The average household is actually saving less than 5%. I checked last night. As in August of 2024, our savings is around 4.8% nationally, okay? And so let's look at how much of that is interest. Imagine who here, if you guys are losing me a little bit, who here wants a 35% raise? Anybody? Show of eyes, show of me. Give me a me in the chat. 35% raise. You guys want a 35% raise? Okay. So let's start looking at how we could stop taking what's just left over, right? Remember, I showed you the average American, how we spend money, and it was in that order: car, home, everything else, us. Or another way to say that is think of the first two commandments. One is what? Love God, heart, mind, and soul. 2, love thy neighbor like thyself. So numerically, the commandments say 1, God, 2, self, 3, neighbor. What I just showed you in this annual pattern of spending is we're going 1, 3, 2. Let's look at what happens if we take the interest that we're paying others. So we got 5 cents of every dollar, or every 20 cents for the automobile of interest. What happens if we shift that over to our savings? Now we got 15 cents. Next, for our home, the banks are brilliant. If you've moved into your home in the last 5 to 7 years, do not, I beg you, do not go look at your mortgage statement, because you're going to find out that you're paying 70 to 80% of that payment is going towards the interest, not the principal. So that's 25 cents of every 30 cents that can be recaptured over time with long-term thinking and go into our savings. So now we've gone from 10 cents to 40 cents of every dollar we're saving. Do you guys already feel a little bit richer? You should. You see what's possible? And now everything else, another 5 cents. You know, it's probably a lot more than that with the debt, credit card debts and things. But now we're at 45 cents. So now we're saving almost half of our money. Remember, the richest man in Babylon said save 10%. Imagine if you're saving 30 to 45% of your money is staying in your family. You just made that one change to your pattern of spending, everything would change. So now I'm going to peel back the onion even further. I'm going to show you guys what's under the hood of this specially engineered whole life. And I'm going to show you how you can get all the money back for every car that you ever buy, drive, and own. Most people think of the premiums as a cost, but I'm going to offer you, when you get paid and your money goes in the bank and it's deposited there, how does that feel? We get a yes, some excitement. I just got paid. It's payday. We're going out. We're going to party. We got some fun. How does it feel when you get paid? It feels good. So imagine paying yourself. That's why I'm going to call this and refer to it for the rest of the presentation as a premium deposit. And there's a couple things we're not going to talk about. We're not really going to talk about your age because it doesn't matter. Okay? We're not going to talk about the death benefit because that's the cherry on top. We're talking about banking. How do we change one thing and change everything? So let's look at this example. We're going to use Jessica again. I like to use, she was a saver. Remember, she had good habits like Sally Saver. And we're going to go through and we're going to deposit into our account. We're going to pay ourselves $10,000 of a premium deposit per year. So now we've deposited in year 1, in year 2, in year 3, and we've built up a cash value, right? We've built up cash value inside our specially engineered whole life. And now we're going to take a loan to buy that car, that $25,000 car. Remember, if you want to buy a Ferrari, add a 0. If you're buying a scooter, maybe remove a 0. This works for any amount of money. It is the concept of banking that I'm teaching you here today. And now, to be an honest banker, we're going to set up a repayment like we did in the same example of the banking. So we're going to pay ourselves $500 a month. That's assuming that we're paying the interest back to ourselves as well. That's $6,000 a year. And now over that period of time, the first 7 years, we've injected how much? 70,000 of premium deposits. That's 10,000 a year, or you can do it monthly. And another $30,000 with paying ourselves back. So now, after the period of time, it's cost us how much? $25,000 has come out to go buy the car. And we're left with, look at the number, $67,000 of cash value, and we're at $75,000 that we have put into the system, right? So we've right away, and tell me if you guys have ever done this before, I've just showed you the math instantly, how you've recaptured and recycled that money, that interest that used to leave your family. And now you have 91 cents of every dollar. Jessica has 91 cents of every dollar that she has paid for that vehicle back in her hand and the vehicle. Have any of you ever had that happen if you haven't bought your car using the infinite banking strategy? Right now, you guys should already be going and trying to book a call with me, jumping on my calendar, saying, Jason, show me how to buy my cars, how to buy my things, and you guys can have that opportunity and jump in a call with me, and I'll post it here, but there's my calendar. Find a time that works for you. Have a conversation with me. Have a conversation to see how you can start applying this. And let's go further. So far, I'm going to do something here that you would never do. I will never teach you to stop putting premium deposits into your banking system, but we'll get into that another late. But now, Jessica, maybe you have kids, maybe people have got muddy footprints, your kids have dropped food, or they've thrown up, or they just made a mess of your car. And you're like, I want that new car smell again. So you're going to take another loan out. You're not going to make any more premium deposits. And for the next 5 years, you're just going to pay back the loan. So it's going to be $30,000 injected into your banking system. The cost has been $25,000. But let's look at the cash value. It's grown by another 23,592 cents. And there's my information. And so I'll answer, Gary, at the end. I'll answer any questions, or you can always book a call with me and get those questions. But you can repay a lump sum. You can borrow more often. Yes, you can just keep that in motion. Remember, this is a banking system. This is where you're depositing money and you're taking loans out from the money. So great question, by the way. So let's look at the 3 rules. The first rule is to pay yourself first, which I talked about, right? 1, 2, 3. Pay yourself before you're paying other families, as if your life depends on it, because your financial freedom actually does. Pay yourself with interest. You want to make sure that you're not stealing from your system. And you want to have a place that you can recycle and recapture the money. Bring all that money back to yourselves. Now that you guys have seen this works for a car, what else can it work for? It can work for everything, anything. You're only limited by your imagination. And so now let's go into a real life example. This is one of our actual clients. This is one of our chiropractor friends from Minnesota. Let's look at his debts he has. And remember, as I'm going through this, just think what Albert Einstein once said. He said, we have to know the rules of the game and then play better than anyone else. And so this is a 45-year-old chiropractor, one of our actual clients. He had $478,000 of bad debt. In payments, that was $5,777 a month, leaving his family forever. Okay? Because once that money's gone, will he ever earn money on that money again? No. If he kept paying things the way that is set up traditionally, it's going to take him 19 years to pay off this debt. 19 years. That's a long time. He's probably going to want a new car or a new boat or even a new condo by then. 19 years is a long time. So he's saving $25,000 a year. So all we're going to do, same as a car example, is he's going to change one thing where his savings go first. And he's going to start using that cash value to pay off the loan. So year 1, he deposits $25,000. He can take a loan out for $14,000 and change. That's roughly 60%. He pays off the Discover, the Lowe's, and pays down the Nordstrom. He has recaptured $448 per month back to his system, which is close to $6,000 a year. Okay. Year 2, he does the same thing. Just stick with me here. I know this is repetitive, but remember, it's long-term thinking and it's a marathon. It's not going to happen overnight, but let's look at what the next cash injection, another $25,000 in premium deposits, now has a cash value has risen, right? Notice it's more than it was in year 1. He's made the payments of $5,300 and change back to himself because he paid off the Discover the Lowe's. Now he's got $21,000. What's he going to do with that money? Well, he's going to recapture this money that's leaving his family at this high interest rates, right? 21%, 3%, 10%. He knocks those three out. Now he's recaptured almost $2,000 a month, which is $24,000 a year. Fast forward to year 3, Doc deposits another $25,000. Now look what happens. By year 3, this particular policy has reached its efficiency. He's injecting $1 and he can borrow out $541 more, right? And he's made the payments back almost $23,000 in change. He's got $48,000 in cash value. He's going to do what? He's going to pay off the BMW, the boat, free up more capital. Now look how that's shifted. In 3 years, he has shifted the majority of the money that's been leaving his family, gone forever, back into his family. He's got $3,677 a month, almost $48,000 a year. And the marathon. So how much money have we put in so far? Each year, 25 grand, 75,000, right? Loans, 14,000 year 1, 16,000, 25,000, 55,000. How much is still in the policy? You guys might do the math and you might tell me that there's 20,000, 75 minus 55. Anthony knows the answer, Anthony. So appreciate you already putting up the answer, but no, all $75,000 is still earning what? A guaranteed interest and most likely earning a dividend. So all of his money, he is saving his money in one hand and spending in the other. Save and spend method, as the banking bros would tell you. Year 4, we inject another 25,000. Cash value is going up to 26,000 and change. He's repaid himself 44 grand, got 70,000. Not enough to pay off the condo, but we've knocked down the condo. So in 4 years, right? Remember, it's going to take 19 years. Look how much progress has been made, and progress equals what? Progress equals happiness. Taking money from the policy. That's it, Jessica. Again, look how that value has risen. 25,000 deposited, 27,000 available, 44,000 paid back. We're definitely knocking out the condo and knocking down the home. So now we've recaptured another $879 a month. Okay, and we're only in year 5. Now he's putting so much money in payments back into that segregated account, back into his own account. He can't fit any more into this policy. So what happens in year 6? He has to open another $25,000 policy. So he puts $10,000 into his first policy because that's as much as he can put into it in that year. He's got $13,000 in cash now. He deposits another $25,000 into his bank on 3rd Street. In case you guys aren't following what's happening here, he has now gotten to the efficiency point where he's opening another warehouse of wealth. I don't want to miss this point. The payments back to himself, $54,000, $82,000. So by year 6, this Cairo, this 45-year-old chiropractor from Minnesota, has repaid all of his debt and recaptured almost $6,000 a month. Almost $72,000 a year coming back into his family. Remember how I said we're going to map out the millionaire mystery? Are you guys seeing how changing this one thing is so powerful? It's the same thing my family did. We didn't have as much debt as this doctor did, but we've recaptured over $100,000. So if you guys are thinking, well, how does this apply to me? Well, funny enough, we understand, like Zig Ziglar said, go solve enough people's problems and you'll have everything that you could ever want, right? And more. We put together a debt blaster where if you have debt and that's your focus, as you're going through the application process to become your own bank, we'll actually meet with you and we'll mathematically figure out if it's best to pay it off as an avalanche, as a snowball, as highest interest first, and then we'll apply your infinite banking. We'll show you exactly how long it'll take to pay it off so you can see the map before you finalize things, and how long it'll take to repay your system to be able to use that money again. Or if you don't have debts, if you're looking to figure out, hey, how could I make my money make me more money? We also have a gain projector tool as well. And so the debt map, right? This is something that is also offered and you can meet multiple times a year with your implementation specialist, because knowledge isn't power. It's the applied knowledge is power. I hope you guys agree with that. You can read and learn and be in these webinars, be blessed to share in this community, but without applying things, things will not change. So my favorite question, how do you eat an elephant? You guys know the answer. It's one bite at a time. Now, you might have to do it over a long period of time. You might put the elephant ice and have elephant steaks and I'm so hungry right now too. I'm fasting. One bite at a time. Elephant steaks, elephant stew, elephant salads, elephant burgers, right? All different ways to have the elephant. And the man at the top of the mountain didn't just fall there, did he? No. Or the woman. They just take steps, one step at a time. And as we make steps, as you made progress, celebrate. Wire that feeling into your body, into your nervous system, because that keeps you going forward. Progress equals happiness. It's that simple. Again, give yourself permission to succeed. And so I've shown you that this works for everything. So it is possible to owe no man nothing. It works for debt. It works for expenses. It works for vacations, homes, taxes, tuition, everything. The only limiter is the real estate between your ears, right? Is our mind. We're only limited by our imagination. So if we continue, remember, I promised we're going to map out the millionaire mystery. So if this chiropractor kept paying back himself for the allotted period of time that he owed, because now remember, all he's done is take over these debts from the original bank and into his own banking system. So he's going to keep paying himself back. If he paid the condo back for 251 months, that's another 220,000. The home back, that's 273,000. That's already $493,000, $500,000 back to himself. But wait, it gets better if you consider the guaranteed interest. And when I'm talking about the dividend, now that money has grown even more. $344,000, $405,000, $749,000, $749,000 back in the policy by changing one thing. You think the doc is a big fan of us? Pretty sure he is. So now that you know this, who needs to be doing this? That's good. Keith, if you didn't get it today, it's okay. Watch it again. It took Brent 2 years to start. It took a lot of folks. My mentor took 2 years. And they both learned from R. Nelson Nash. So don't expect to get it immediately. Now that you know this, if you're not doing this, if you're not doing what the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Morgan, Stanleys, Barclays all understood how to keep money in their family, aren't you stealing from your kids, from your grandkids, from your future kids, right? And Warren says it best. If poor people would just do what rich people did, they wouldn't be poor anymore. So come to a close here. Only one of two things are going to happen in the future. Only one of two, right? 98% of us, we're either going to live or we're going to die. Are we better off with or without this? That's the question. So now that you've seen this, now that you know by changing one thing, we went through the truths about money. We went through how the average American, which again is not any of you here, not anyone watching this, you guys are asking better questions. So, yep, Jessica knows we all die. So she caught the 98%. She knows that no one's getting out of this alive. So with that, I'm super grateful. Ask any questions that you have here. How you live and leave your legacy by changing this one thing will change everything. It's changed my family's life. Again, I'm super grateful for your most valuable resource, your time, your energy, your focus. You're already doing what 95% of people will never do. And so the decision's here. You either have to take radical action and ownership. Some of you are going to take action, some won't. And either way, I'm still super grateful for you, still love you. And I just think that you're better with this. So if you want to know how this could apply to you, book a call with me. There's no cost to it. Come share your situation. I'll meet you where you're at financially, and I'll map out this millionaire mystery for you based on your dreams, your goals, and where you are financially. Again, blessed to be here. Come join us every Tuesday for Take Back Control Tuesday. And I wish you all nothing but the best. Have a beautiful rest of your week. Blessings to you all. Have a great one. You guys are welcome. Thank you for being here. Have a beautiful one. Bye, Mary Luna. Bye, everyone.
All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. We're putting up tons of them, but I think if you like this one, you'll probably like that video as well. Not only that, I've got a book that I created, Mapping Out the Millionaire Mystery, where we actually show you what the wealthy do in the game they play with money. I want you to have that for free. And if you want to know about all my new videos coming up, click that alert button. Actually, smash that alert button, and you'll be notified every time we put a new video. So we'll see you on the next episode.